Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being first, Kathy G. And also thank you for being here, Emma D, Caroline, CV, or is it Civi? Let me see, Joya Moore, Lydia Washington, Helen Marmon, Norman Campbell, and Novi D, Joyce Anderson, Fancy, and so many other people. I just can't even name them all. Elaine Parker, what? 44 months? Thank you for 44 months membership. Wow, that's impressive. Thank you very much. Okay. And Prince Harry's Shanghai surprise. Well. Somebody is going to be very grumpy. As a matter of fact, I don't think that the tabloid media is even covering Harry's historic, and this is historic. I do not believe that they are covering this historic journey. Not at all. They refuse. They refuse to talk about it. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Well, anyway, can you blame them? Can you blame them? They're so hateful. Let me see. Let me take a quick look here. I am just curious to know if they covered this at all. Well, I can see they're still chatting about oh, I'm not, you know what, I'm not even going to dignify that with any type of acknowledgement. Well, no, you would think that they would cover this. Now I see Charles, I'm sorry, Chuck and Gladys, but no. Isn't that something? Huh. And the story's not even that old to be buried so deep. Well, looks like they won't give them the satisfaction. Huh. Nope. Nothing. Wow. Still nothing. I'm scrolling and I'm checking. Okay, let me get a better idea who's talking about it. Prince Harry in Shanghai. Okay, People Magazine, Express, The Mirror. Okay, In Style, Nine Honey. That's Australia, right? Not a lot of coverage, you guys. Not the Sun, and not the Mail. What's the matter? I wonder why they don't want to talk about it. Is it because of the invisible contract? That invisible contract that they have with the sovereign, where they have to make a big fuss no matter what? Oh, well, you know what that means, don't you? You know what that means? That means that they are
bitter. And, somebody needs to say it. Bitter. bitter.
They're bitter. And somebody definitely need to say it.
And somebody needs to say it. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter. Bitter. Bitter, bitter, bitter.
They're just bitter. Oh, well, I understand. No need to explain. But you know what, guys? Something very ironic about today. And I promise you, I'm not trying to make this about myself. But isn't it interesting that 7 years ago, I was in Liverpool? I was just looking at my timeline. 7 years ago, I was in Liverpool. One of my favorite places I visited in all of the UK, Liverpool. Beautiful city. You could really feel those very strong working class roots. And I love the working class. I was born of the working class. I continue to be the working class. Unfortunately, today, a lot of people were injured because of an incident which is still without explanation, where someone went barreling into the crowd in a vehicle. Very unfortunate. Good thing is that no one has died, but I'm more than certain there are some life-changing injuries. And that is very sad. That is very sad. The Liverpool I remember was completely idyllic in every way. The weather was flawless, absolutely flawless. The sun was shining every day I was there. And to know that something like this has happened in a place that I enjoyed so much is very, very sad. So, of course, we will send our prayers out to those who have been affected. Some man was arrested. They said that they do not suspect that there was anyone else involved. It appears to be a lone act by someone who, for some unexplained reason, caused this tragedy. Yeah. Liverpool minority owner LeBron James reacts to Premier League parade tragedy. I didn't know LeBron James owns part of that team. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Did not know that. But according to ESPN, the Merseyside police have said that the incident of a car colliding with pedestrians in Liverpool city centre during Liverpool Football Club Premier League victory parade is not being treated as terrorism. The police confirmed they arrested a 53-year-old white British man from Liverpool area, and in a news conference, the assistant chief constable said they believe him to be the driver of the car. So, let me see. They confirmed 47 people were injured, with 27 taken to the hospital. Yeah, so anyway, the situation is very confusing, and at some point they are going to have they've had a news conference a couple hours ago, I think. And well, anyway, there'll be more about this tomorrow. But yeah, that was very, very sad to see something like that. So, Elaine Parker, thank you very much for the super sticker and for being a moderator as well as a member. And Kevin Slims, let me see, Megan and Harry, could be in the UK for weeks, and these people with all these inside sources close to the Sussexes would never know. That is so true. That is so true. Thank you for the super chat. It is interesting that they always say that they have someone close to the Sussexes, and yet they have managed to do some extraordinary things. Like, for instance, that trip to Jamaica just came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere, and they were clueless. They had no idea that that was going to happen. And the Sussexes obviously were able to go and return. The only thing that they noticed is that all of these amazing photos were all over the place, but otherwise, they didn't have a clue. And it's going to remain that way. And I'm glad. I'm glad that they have left those people out of the loop. Had they been fair to the Sussexes, then of course they would have all of the information. But those people cannot be trusted because the first thing that they do is they try to sabotage it. They try to put the whammy on it, and you can't um, achieve anything by confiding in your enemies so that they can try to tear you down. So, okay, let me take that away. Thank you again. So, thank you for being here on Royal Sussex. Please make sure you hit the like button. That is definitely a way to keep the lights on. That engagement helps to grow the channel, and we need all the growth we can get. By the way, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour or so. Thank you to the moderators. That includes Church Nelly, Lydia Washington, Cookies and Cream, Adrian Burrows, Dominica Anastasia Isabella Christensen, Legs, Sherry Ware, Elaine Parker, VS Speaks Royally on occasion, and our newest sheriff, Hazel Jones. So thank you all very, very much. One nation, indivisible. One nation, indivisible. What does that mean? I think it kind of means one for all and all for one. But I tend to roll this out on any of the more patriotic holidays. You know, there is no one in the United States more patriotic than the African American. You guys, so many of our holidays can trace their roots back to the African American community, like Memorial Day. Memorial Day actually evolved out of the Black community. And of course, because the African Americans here in the US wanted to somehow pay proper respects to the people who had sacrificed everything. And so now it has become the unofficial start of summer. Even though technically it's still spring, it is the unofficial start of summer. And remember, in the US, you're really not supposed to wear white outside of Memorial Day and Labor Day. So between Memorial Day and Labor Day, wear white all you want. Now, that is considered good etiquette. However, in recent years, some people have moved toward what they call winter white. Okay. And of course, this was posted on social media. Gosh, I forgot who posted this, but that is one of the national cemeteries. Everybody knows of Arlington National Cemetery, but there are national cemeteries all over the country, which are maintained, I believe, is it the Park District that maintains the national cemeteries? But yeah, they're all over the country. So you don't have to go all the way to Arlington National to pay your respects. And if you've had any veterans in the family, you may know of a local national cemetery. Back in 2013, our Prince Harry actually visited Arlington National Cemetery. A lot of people have forgotten about this, but I haven't. It was May of 2013 when Harry was making a visit to the United States. This was his first big solo trip to the US. And it was one of the things that he wanted to make sure that he could do is to pay his respects to the American soldiers and their families who had sacrificed for their country. And so this was a very monumental moment for the Duke of Sussex, who at the time, of course, wasn't the Duke of Sussex. He was His Royal Highness Prince Harry. And there he is. Oh, by the way, this is a very solemn occasion. Laying a wreath. When you lay a wreath here in the US at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, whoever the visiting dignitary lays the wreath, accompanied by a United States Marine officer. So it's something that is done together. And Harry said he rather liked the fact that you could share this moment in exchange with a fellow soldier whilst laying the wreath. And right there, there's the Duke of Sussex placing flowers on the grave of President John F. Kennedy, also a soldier. So that was very touching and very moving. And Harry actually placed some flowers. He chose a grave at random. At least I think it was at random. But Harry chose a grave and placed flowers in the Arlington National Cemetery. Prince Harry did. So let me see. I did not share that image with you, but well, I guess I can now. Won't take but a second. Now, the interesting thing is, can I decipher this? Now, remember, Harry is not supposed to be the smart one, remember? He's not supposed to care. He's just waiting for the next party, they say. And yet, this man has been so incredibly thoughtful throughout his life. And it's just enough to make his oddball family jealous. But there it is. So if I can, it says, to my comrades in arms of the United States of America who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the cause of freedom, Captain Harry Wells. So that is the flowers that he himself placed on the grave of one of the soldiers to represent all of the soldiers. So very, very touching. Okay. Get back over here. Hey, Big Mama, glad you're here. Joan Garcia, Heather Stroud, Lola Love, thank you for being here. Now, let's get on to Travalyst. Travalyst Executive Summit 2025, or as I like to say, Prince Harry's Shanghai surprise. You know, I kind of feel like I could actually go to the bar and just say, hey, can you make me a drink? Usually this drink is for deadbeat dads, wayward sovereigns, very what is the word I'm looking for? Very passive aggressive heads of state. I think King Charles III drinks it. Yeah. Can you make that for me? It is full of regret and remorse. It tastes very sour and bitter all at the same time. God only knows why I would want to drink like that. But yeah, I call it the Shanghai surprise. It's when you make this big trip to Canada, possibly your last, and your son upstages you by going to Shanghai in a historic visit. That's what they call it, the Shanghai surprise. Yes, today Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex and founder of Travalyst, called on the Asian Pacific travel industry to strengthen that is its commitment to sustainable tourism and collective climate goals. Speaking in Shanghai at Trip.com Group's Envision 2025 Global Partner Conference, the Duke delivered a keynote address to the industry leaders from across the region, acknowledging the challenges facing the sector. The Duke emphasized the need for continued collaboration and innovation to help meet vital climate and conservation targets by 2030. He also highlighted the Asia Pacific region growing influence and its unique ability to shape the future of travel through sustainable practices. Well, that's our Prince Harry. He tends to do things like that. Kevin Slim says, can you ever see Harry and Meghan going back to being working royals? Thank you for the super chat. Well, they are working royals. They are just not a part of that institution. So I'm going to take my cue from Professor, what's his name? And I'm going to try to avoid the idea that there's a such thing as a working or non-working royal, because it really feeds into the palace's narrative as a way to create some type of division where there really ought not be any. But to your point, do I think they would ever go back over there? Absolutely not. Nope, there's no place for them over there. The people, the left behind royals, they love to make a big fuss about not being able to trust Harry and Meghan. It is they who cannot be trusted. They throw rocks and hide their hands because they use their surrogates to wage war against other people's happiness. So it is they who cannot be trusted. They who have the invisible contract can never, ever be trusted because they can maintain their stature by using their surrogates to make mischief. So, nope, never, ever. But thank you so much for the super chat. So, here is one of the photos from last night. You know what? As I'm sitting here thinking about it, I wanted to share a video from last night. Let me see if that's at all possible. Let me see if that is at all possible. No, let me see. Okay, so I have that. That one, I'm not sure that's okay. So I'm going to avoid that one. And let's stick with what is likely safe to do. Okay. It's only like 13 seconds, but let's stick with what's safe. Yeah. You know, I'm kind of embarrassed, you guys. I didn't realize that this was Shanghai. I didn't realize that when I first saw it, I'm just like, Shanghai? Really? Okay. And listen, you guys, I'm having fun with this. I'm sure Harry wasn't trying to send a point to his father by going as far away from the US or Canada as possible. He had work to do. Harry works. He has work to do. So Travalyst collectively is responsible for what is it, a couple of $1 trillion in companies. If you combine all the companies that are connected to Travalyst, it averages what, $2 to $3 trillion at a. Anyway, that much of a commitment, having a say with some of the biggest companies in the world to help guide them towards sustainability. That is a incredible responsibility. I don't know if this is a volunteer role for Harry, but we do know that he is the founder of Travalyst. So I guess they're probably sitting in Kensington Palace trying to figure out, how are we going to interrupt this? Okay. Which reminds me, you guys, they never mention Travalyst. When I say they, the media almost never mentions Travalyst. It's like they do not want to acknowledge that it exists. I wonder why. There you go. What a warm reception. Guys, we need to share this all over social media. We need to share it everywhere we can. Just to grate on the nerves of those derangers. Just to grate on their nerves. We really have to do that. Let's see here. Oh, wow. They included the full transcript of his speech. You know what? Why don't I see if I can go ahead and play the speech for you? I don't want to play the video, but I'll see if I can play that speech for you. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got to save that one. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is bad. President Macron, what happened? Huh? Do you want to talk about it? President Macron? Do you want to talk about it? What's it all about, Macron? Well, that's what happens when you I don't even have to say it, do I? But that's what happens. I choose my words carefully. Oh, but that's what happens. Okay, okay. Oh, you know what? I could share this one. Yeah, I could share that one. You know, it's an amateur video. The amateur stuff is usually okay. Yeah, the amateur stuff is usually okay. It is the official ones that get you in trouble. Have declined by 73% since 1970. And with our coalition Okay, let me do this. I don't believe that the full speech is available. I have not seen that anywhere. If I can find it, I will, but this is like a minute of the speech, like a minute and a half, 90 seconds or whatever. So here goes.
The stark truth is that global wildlife populations have declined by 73% since 1970. And with our coalition representing many of the world's biggest travel and tech companies, we are uniquely positioned to drive the change that we so desperately need. 80% of tourism's value is tied to nature. And nature is worth more when our coral reefs and forests thrive, when our rivers are unpolluted and our wildlife is alive and well in their natural habitats. And although we've achieved significant milestones in our first 5 years, the journey ahead remains challenging. And no single company can tackle these issues alone. And given the headwinds we face as a global community, we must work together to drive meaningful progress. Now is the moment for the industry to reaffirm its commitment to being a force for good. Challenges will undoubtedly rise. But if there's one thing that I've learned in my life, it's that meaningful change never comes easily. The true measure of our commitment is how we respond when the path becomes difficult. We must never give up.
Did you guys catch that little part there at the end that he's learned in his life? Let me do it.
The true measure of our commitment is how we respond when the path becomes difficult. We must never give up.
Oh, okay. Let me do that again.
Being a force for good. Challenges will undoubtedly rise. But if there's one thing that I've learned in my life, it's that meaningful change never comes easily. The true measure of our commitment is how we respond when the path becomes difficult.
Preach.
We must never give up.
Preach. Preach. You better preach, Harry. Did you all hear that? When I tell you that I am proud of this young man, I do mean he makes me proud. He really does. He really does. He says, I am immensely proud of what we have accomplished together. In our milestone report released last month, we revealed that flight emissions estimates have been targeted in I'm still messing it up, has been integrated in more than 130 billion searches worldwide thanks to Travalyst. So 130 billion searches worldwide. That means that on 130 billion occasions, someone searching for travel, whether it's flying, taking a train, staying at a hotel, someone has been given the actual rate of emissions that will be generated by their travel. There are a lot of young people and older people who want to know, what is the impact of my journey? What kind of impact do I create by traveling? How much emissions is generated by my travel? And by sharing this information with the consumer, we may decide to take a train rather than a plane so that we can reduce the amount of emissions. We may decide that we don't need a larger hotel room, which will need to be cooled or warmed, whatever the case may be. We'll stay in something smaller. We'll stay at a different hotel. That is the whole point of Travalyst, is to help inform the consumer about the amount of emissions or carbon footprint that is generated. What a brilliant idea. And isn't it impressive that Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, is the founder? Prince Harry, the founder. If you go to their website, it lists Prince Harry as the founder. Vaughn says, let the church say amen. Yes, let the church say amen. Thank you very much for that, Vaughn. And thank you for being here. I really, really do appreciate it. So, this is just huge. This is huge. And it's so big that instead of talking about it, they just suppress it. And we all know who they are. They suppress it because they don't ever want to give him credit for something so monumental. At trip.com, Group Global Conference Envision, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, urges the Asia Pacific travel industry to double down on sustainable commitments as Travalyst looks to expand its coalition. You know why this is so important? Because every day, the amount of wealth in this world is shifting from the West to the East. Okay? The amount of wealth in this world is shifting from the West to the East. And China, Singapore, of course, Japan for a very long time, Korea, as these economies grow, as the stature of their working and middle class grows, more and more people have taken to the air. Now, right now, the United States has more airports than any other country in the world. There's a lot of people in the US who fly like other people drive, but that's not always going to be the case because the price of traveling by air, the ability to own your own aircraft, has become easier. And so you'll find increasingly more and more people, they say this is going to be a record travel year. In spite of everything, it is going to be a record travel year. Coming out of the global pandemic, nobody thought it was possible that travel would ever go back to where it was. They thought that the A380 and the 747 were going to go into mothballs, the two largest passenger planes. You know what they had to do was get them back out. They had to get those planes back in the air because they need them. So this is an exciting time for travel. And for anyone involved in the travel industry, tourism, this is a very exciting time. So isn't it just like the Sussexes, the Duke of Sussex, to be so ahead of the curve? Let me see. R.A., thank you very much for the Cash App. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Even Feminagra is talking about it. That's right. Prince Harry's Shanghai keynote shows Travalyst global reach. Even the one of my favorite online magazines, Prince Harry has quietly stepped back into the global spotlight, choosing Shanghai as his latest stage. At the Trip.com Group Envision 2025 event, he spoke passionately about Travalyst, the nonprofit he founded. You know what? I'm getting goosebumps. Let me say that again. The nonprofit he founded to transform travel into a force for good. While headlines back home obsess over Meghan Markle's Netflix renewal, Harry's focus in Shanghai was squarely on driving sustainability and fairness in tourism. That's the other thing, you guys. I keep missing that point. But let me say this one more time. Harry is the founder. Now, fairness in tourism. The other goal of Travalyst, you guys, I'm getting emotional, but I love this. I love this. I love this because it is going to help so many people. We all know that big corporations move into regions and take over all the best beaches, all of the best property. If it's near the water, they try to remove that land from public use, and they want to put walls up and save it for the tourists. Now, I'm not saying that Harry is going to go in there and single-handedly change that. However, one of the goals of Travalyst is fairness. And that fairness in tourism definitely means that it is more sustainable, that more people within this country or that country, wherever the destination, they need to share in the wealth created by tourism. So let's hope that with such a large group of corporations that are involved, that they are able to truly make a difference for the people that live in these communities, because it's always the local inhabitants, the native born people, that are usually cut out of everything. So I hope that, I'm being optimistic. I hope this will address some of that disparity. His keynote address in front of hundreds of travel leaders signaled a renewed push for Travalyst mission. He stressed the need for the industry to reaffirm its commitment to being a force for good. His words didn't just land as a personal philosophy, they carried the weight of a global movement, a vision of fair travel. The event's timing couldn't have been more relevant. Tourism is racing to recover from the years of the pandemic-driven disruption. Prince Harry pushed for fair and eco-friendly travel, taps into a growing demand among travelers and businesses alike. During his visit, Harry met with Miss Tapani Kia Paipun, the governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand. Their conversation centered on building fair systems in tourism. Grounded in the past conceptual framework, this model balances environmental care with economic fairness, reflecting a global consensus that the travel industry must evolve. It must evolve. So, it continues. The Travalyst launched in 2019 with partners like Bookings.com, TripAdvisor, has always aimed to move beyond slogans. It has focused on shifting the entire tourism chain, hotels, airlines, and experiences toward real sustainability. Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't want to talk about this other stuff here. Okay. They're talking about a little bit of the other business. I'm going to skip that part of it. And that is about all of the gossip surrounding the Sussexes. So I'm gonna skip that part of it. But I will say this. Toward the end, it says the tabloids' endless chatter about insiders is just that, blather. They're not privy to the Sussexes' real plans. They find out when we all do. The British tabloids aren't part of Harry and Meghan's lives anymore. The truth is that the only sources these papers rely on are their own imaginations. I love that. Come on, Feminagra. And let's be honest, they're proven liars. Who wrote this article? Who wrote this article? That is excellent. Okay, there's one comment. I'll share this comment with you. Only one person commented to this article. It says, Harry and Meghan moved on years ago, living their life, focusing on their various projects and raising their family. The British media and their trolls are stuck in time warp. Rinse and repeat, same narrative against them. The public are seeing through it, and thankfully the tide is turning slowly. I know, but it's nice to see many people now questioning what is it that they have done to receive so much hate. ESPN, in comparison to the members of the family, Prince Andrew's involvement with I can't say that word, King Charles with his cash for honors, such and such. Okay, William now controls his tenants' living in mode and rodent infected. Okay, I believe this alone. Somebody is like mad. But yes, yet Harry and Meghan are the problem. That's how they sum it up. Okay. Well, thank you, whoever that was. All right, so let's move on, you guys. Let's move on. So anyway, thank you, Prince Harry, for yet another ninja move where you have left the United States and gone as far as Shanghai without anybody. I mean, you guys, do you know how many people were involved in his travel itinerary? And not one person, not a single person has leaked it to the press. Not one person. Again, let the church say amen. Well. Let me see. Okay, I'm just looking at a couple of your comments here. All right, gonna move on. Here's a couple of photos from last night. Trip.com group, Envision 2025. Here's, let me see, the Envision 2025 Trip.com group event featured a very special guest, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, who spoke about Travalyst, his initiative to change the global impact of tourism for the better. Yes. What an enthusiastic crowd. What an enthusiastic crowd. Yes, I love it.
Bitter. And somebody needs to say it. Bitter. bitter.
They're just bitter. I love it. Oh, you guys, my face hurt from smiling so hard. Well, I don't want to say the name, but I'll say the initial. P. Thank you very much for the PayPal. Thank you very much for the PayPal. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. My face hurts. I keep smiling. I got this big grin. The corners of my mouth is touching my ears. Oh, by the way, you guys, I have a little confession to make later. It was something I promised that I would never do, and yet I allowed it to happen. I did. I Can anybody guess what it is? I'll give you a chance to sort it out. It's something that I promised I would never, ever do, and I have done it. Can anybody guess what it was? Anybody? It was something that I promised I would never do. I was not going to give in to peer pressure. I wasn't going to worry about what people are thinking. Something I promised that I wouldn't do, and I did it. Oh, come on. You all can do better than that. Isn't this a great photo of Harry? You all could do better than that. Let me see if I can find an interesting way to share it with you. Now, remember, it's something I promised I would never do. I've always frowned upon it. I've always frowned upon it. And yet, here I am. Anyone? Well, we can come back to it. We could just come back to it. I want to give you an opportunity to see who's been paying attention. I'm going to give you the opportunity. I don't want to steal your thunder. I come from a land down under. Let me see. Nobody? Huh. Okay. Clicked on the Daily Mail. Gossip? Mm-mm. It was something I promised that I wouldn't do, that I frowned upon. I've seen other people, and I was just like, oh no, that's not for me. I'd never partake in that. Did I go to a site I shouldn't have? Well, I mean, there are days when I can find some derangers and I will get lost in their sites. It is very interesting. Of course, afterwards, you really need to cleanse yourself because it is just so dank and filthy. Talked about the Cambridge children? No. Make a prediction? No. Okay, I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to keep you in suspense. I'm going to share it with you. I want to try to find two examples that I can share it. Let me do this one. Those summer days, end of the spring, and get a tattoo. You know what? That's a good one. That is a good one. Marshar, come on, you got to know. Marshar, you should know. You know me. What did I say I wasn't going to ever do? Can I give you a hint? Oh, I don't know if I should. those summer days. Okay, I just want to do something here. Okay, I'll do that. Gosh, don't I look pale? I need to get more sunlight. I really do need to get more sunlight. Okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. Laugh at Amen? Oh, I would do that in my sleep. Support Trump? Never. Not if the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Okay. Let me bring a photo up for you, and then we're going to go on to some other stuff. I'm surprised nobody got this because I was just so okay. I said that I was never going to dye my hair ever. And yet my niece got tired of looking at all of my gray, and she asked me, "Can I dye your hair or rinse it or whatever she did?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And she's like, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "I don't know." Speedos, Sandra, Speedos. Oh, Lord. I wouldn't do that to humanity. So anyway, I promised that I was never going to fool with my hair. I said, I don't want to look like some dictator. So she decided to go with the softest color that she felt would make sense. So let me see. Here goes. Here goes. That is the color of my hair right now. I think it's like an auburn or something like that. But yeah, I allowed her to color my hair. She cut it and she colored it. And so I promised I was never going to do that because only dictators get their hair dyed. Well, when it comes to men, only dictators get their hair dyed. Is it a ginger? Is it really? Okay, I guess I could see that a little bit. But yeah, so I dyed my hair, you guys. Well, my niece dyed it. You can still see some of the gray. You can still see some hints of the gray. But I promised I was never, ever going to do that. So this is the before. This is me looking like Pop Staples. And this is the after. Shorter, and God only knows what color. Oh, do some Botox next? I don't know if I would do that. Oh, you mean you thought okay. You thought that's what I was gonna do. No. Yeah, so I got my hair colored. I promise you guys, this is a one of. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. If she wants to color it again, if she wants to experiment on my hair, I'll let her. But it's so funny. I promised myself I was never going to do that. I was just content with my gray. And mind you, this is how much gray hair that I have. Take a look at this photo. This is how much my hair has grayed since 2018. In 7 years, I have turned into Pop Staples. Oh, sorry about that. It took 7 years for my hair to get that gray. 7 years. That is 7 years of gray. Now, there is some gray there, which is difficult to detect, but it is there. But in 7 years, my hair has slowly began to turn silver. And I promised I was never going to dye it. So anyway, I caved in. I got my hair colored, and yeah, so there you go. That is what I promised I was never going to do, and I did it. So yeah, there we go. I that's my big confession. Okay, where am I here? There we go. Yes, that was it for that. So if you have Netflix, coming up on Netflix, there is a series of documentaries about chefs. You can see John Oliver, a couple of other people I don't necessarily recognize. And there, of course, is Chef Jose Andres, who we all love. Provided description accurately captures the essence of Jose Andres' culinary career, as he widely recognized for revolutionizing Spanish cuisine in the United States, particularly through the introduction of tapas and avant garde techniques. He has elevated the love of cooking into a significant and impactful career, both through his restaurants and his humanitarian work. His approach to cooking is, they call it maximalist chef. His approach to cooking is often described as maximalist, meaning he is not afraid to experiment and push boundaries in his culinary creations. So yeah, look forward to that. Starting, well, it started April 28th. I didn't know, but I guess maybe his show is coming up now. I don't know, but I think that lady is the one that Megan. Remember the lady from the farm to table lady? I think that's who that is on the end. Oh, okay. Well, I was enjoying my silver. I didn't hate it, but I guess, I guess somebody thought it I should try something different. I don't know. Maybe next time I'll go with. I don't know if I want to do the black though, because that's when you start looking like a dictator. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to walk around looking like Edie Amin. So, um, I'm trying to think. Who has hair that's super dark and it shouldn't be? I think the president of South Africa, he shaves his head, right? Yeah, I think he shaves his hair. But yeah, I don't want to look like a dictator, so I'm going to avoid it. So, are you saying that my hair is red? I guess it is. I guess it is. I thought it was brown, but I guess it is red. Now, this was fresh out of the chair. So, I don't know if the color goes up or down, or does the color adjust over time, or is that what it still looks like? Because to be honest with you, I haven't paid much attention since I got out the chair. Yeah. Anyway, I kind of think I look like a big lesbian, but it is what it is. But I think I kind of look like a big lesbian. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely giving the lesbian vibe, which is cool. I mean, I'm at that age now. Ain't nobody trying to talk to me. But yeah, I am definitely giving that lesbian vibe. I think I should I think I should buy some power tools over the weekend just to celebrate my new hair. Right? Oh well. Uh you know what they say, if they can't take a joke, F them, right? Now, you know what, Marshar? Interesting you should say that because my middle brother has red hair. Seriously, red. My middle brother's hair is lighter than that. My middle brother's hair is lighter than that. So interesting you should say that. Oh, don't get the power tools, get like a socket set or something. I should get a socket set, right? Some socket wrenches and such. And wear some plaid shirts. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and get some socket tools and wear a plaid shirt. That way I can fit in with the other girls. Thank you for that. You are very helpful. Anyway, you guys, it is called Chef's Table Legends. Now, dun 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 dun. You know, I was a fan of Brigitte Macron's, but now she kind of seems like a bully to me. Is she looking like a bully to you? I'm not sure how I feel about her now because now she seems like a big bully. Um, and as for Macron, I tell you, Macron, if he gets in trouble one more time, he is embarrassing himself. He really is. Macron. Didn't he just have an incident on the train? President Macron? Okay, I am going to try and share this with you. I'm going to try to share this with you. There's President Macron looking dazed and confused. Okay, that sound was way too loud. I'm going to try to share this with you. And you know, there was those rumors about Brigitte, all of those rumors about Brigitte, and I was one who has always supported her. I wouldn't allow people to spread those vicious rumors in front of me. But yet, okay, I'm going to share it with you in a minute, guys. Give me just a second. Oh, we're not holding hands, are we? What is that? You don't want them to put their you don't want they to put their hands on you anymore? Well, 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 if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. I am appalled. You know that, don't you? I am shocked. I am dismayed at this gratuitous violence upon the president of France. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, I almost got it, you guys. Give me just a second here. Cause she's slappy. She's just the first lady who can't keep her hands to herself. Cause she's slappy. She knows she has a black belt. Cause she's slappy. Yes, um, there was a song by Pharrell a few years ago called Slappy. Cause she's slappy. Everybody knows she has a black belt. Cause she's slappy. Everybody knows she can't keep her hands to herself. They call her Slappy. They call her Slappy. Okay, let me see how to sort this out. President Macron and First Lady Slappy. Let me see here. Okay, you ready? Here goes. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Let me see something here. Want to make sure I got this right. Okay, that is not right. Give me a second, you guys. Let me fix this. Let me fix this properly. Because I missed the most important part. Oh, that's seriously bad. That is so bad. What will the French people think when they see this? Or has everybody seen it already? Okay, let me try this again. And to think all of those rumors about her being something different. You know what I'm saying? This is not helping her case at all. Okay, let me try this again, you guys. Sorry about the delay. Yeah, this is not helping her case at all. Okay, here goes. This is in slow motion. Okay, I wanted to take that annoying sound away. So after shoving his face or smushing his face, then she walks down the steps. As you can see, he tried to extend his arm like a gentleman, and she wasn't having it. She wasn't having it. He tried to extend his arm like a gentleman, and she wasn't having it. How about that? How about that? Now that it is a blessed shame. It really is a shame. I don't like that type of gratuitous violence, even if it is directed toward a head of state. Ouch. Ouch. I wonder if she dug her nails in. You guys, I don't like this. I casually like Macron, and I know he's not all that. I understand. He's perpetuating a lot of what do you call it? A lot of colonial aspects of the French Empire. I get it. And but in the lesser of two evils type of way, I kind of like him, if you know what I mean. Um in a casual way. Now, let me show you a picture. Let me show you something here. Uh Macron is very, very angry right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't mean the end of their relationship because this was going way too far. I don't know how it started, but this has gone way too far. Uh Wait a minute. How come I can't bring up that image? Okay, let me go over here and try it like this. I love the Queen. I love the Queen. This is so weird. I am not able to bring up my photos. Am I on the right thing here? Surely I am. Okay. I love the Queen. Do you really? Okay. Well, I would work hard too if the whole country paid me. Okay, this is awkward. It is not letting me bring up an image. Okay, let me try this another way. Weird. That is so weird. You know what? Maybe I got too many images open. No, I shouldn't. I don't think so. I don't think so. just ain't letting me do it. Huh. Oh, there it is. There it is. Wow, that was weird. That was trippy. Look, you guys. Look, look, look. Look at that. Look at that. What do you think of that image? Huh? What do you think of that? Somebody is very, very angry. Or dare I say, hot. He's very hot with her. Good Lord. Wow. Wow. That is messed up. That is really, really messed up. And especially with all those rumors about Madame Macron. You know what I'm saying? Especially with all those rumors. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna share another version of the video because that one was in slow motion. Let me share this other one with you. Okay. Okay. Is that the same one? Okay, let me try this. Okay, here goes. Oh my God, that's horrible, isn't it? Isn't that horrible? The rumor, they've been saying that she's a dude. They said she was born a man. I thought everybody heard that one. There is a very big campaign in France, which I don't believe it, but for some reason, they have been saying that she was born a man. Now, I don't believe that for one bit. I don't. I do not believe that Madame Macron is a dude. I do not. But that has been a vicious rumor that has been going around for some time. I don't believe it. Yeah, I do not believe that. I do not believe that. But On as far as that's concerned, this is not helpful. That is not helpful. Ouch. Ooh la la. Ouch. So yeah, he's very angry. They didn't hold hands coming down the steps. I think it is I think it's awful. I hate that this happened, right? And I'm going to show you something else because listen. With everything that's going on in the world right now, I know that these world leaders can be very disappointing, right? But when you consider the alternative, or should I say, when you look at who occupies the White House right now, it can always get much worse. The worst thing for France, as far as I'm concerned, Marie Le Pen, okay, to have some vicious right wing nut job take over the Elysee Palace would be a nightmare. So um I would love for all of Western society, I would love for every government in the world to be perfect, but they're not. So um it would be a real shame if something like this ruins. But okay. Now, this is a tweet from the Elysee, I think. When European unity becomes inconvenient, disinformation goes so far as to make a simple tissue look like something that is not. This fake news is being spread by France's enemies, both abroad and at home. We must remain vigilant against manipulation. Now, if you saw that video, which I cannot share that with you, there has been an effort to suppress that video where Starmer, the guy from Germany, and Macron were on the train together. It was very awkward. I'll just say that it was very awkward. They looked mischievous. They looked like they were up to no good. And people thought that the cameras had came in and seen some things that should not have been. Again, I don't want stuff like this to derail Western civilization. Whether someone's got shoved in the face, whether there's a piece of tissue on the table, and the other thing that was on the table that looked very strange. I don't want that right now. That's just my opinion. But if you saw the video, then you would have to say, that did look very awkward. That did look very awkward. It looks like somebody was hiding something. Again, I cannot show you the video. I will not show you the video. But if you know, you know. It looked very, very strange. Rhonda, it was something that looked like you would stir your coffee with it. Okay? It looked like something that you would stir your coffee. As a matter of fact, if Studio 54 served coffee, it looked like something that they stir your coffee with at Studio 54. Do I need to go any further? Everybody got that? And when the cameras entered the train, they looked puzzled and shocked that the cameras were there. No, it didn't necessarily look like that. It looked like, okay. The symbol for Studio 54 was the moon and a kitchen utensil, not a kitchen utensil, a table, flatware, cutlery, okay? The moon and cutlery. So go ahead and Google Studio 54 moon, right? Because it was always snowing. No matter what the weather was outside, at Studio 54, there was always snow. Blowing snow. Okay? I'm just trying not to get in trouble. Yeah, there was snow blowing. Blow, snow. Yes, Amelia Rodriguez, that is what people assumed. Now, I don't know. I hope that's not what it was. It just looked very awkward, so much so that they felt like they needed to respond to something that did not happen. And the story was really picking up steam, but none of the press touched it. None of the press would touch it. So that's it. But Macron, I'm afraid, has been making a lot of mistakes lately. He has been making a lot of mistakes. And I hope for his sake, because I like him. I do like him. I saw an interview with him long before he became president, and I was very impressed with him. And that's not to say whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. I'm just saying I was very impressed. And for whatever reason, the Elysee, I'm looking at their Twitter right now. For whatever reason, they thought it necessary to respond. As a matter of fact, go to their Twitter and look through the, oh my God. If you go to their Twitter and just look through some of the responses to their tweet, oh my goodness, there's a whole bunch of AI stuff here. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to move on. Like I said, I like him. I thought he was pretty impressive. Oh my goodness. Birthday blessings, Rodney Jackson. All right. Well, thank you very much, Lydia Washington, for sharing that. And then we'll talk about Chuck and Gladys in Canada. But first, we're going to have a little dance for Rodney Jackson's birthday, okay? And if you're watching President Macron, get it together, sir. Get it together. Okay. Happy birthday, Rodney Jackson, and many happy returns of the day. And thank you for being a part of the Sussex Squad family. Thanks for sharing that with us too. Cat Harlem says, hello, Baron and Squaddies. I think Harry and Meghan are in a good position now, so I do not watch as much Sussex content anymore. I ignore those on Salty Island. You know what? Protect your mental health. And of course, you ought to be as productive with everything else in your life as possible. So, thank you so much for your membership, of course, and supporting Royal Sussex. And thank you again, 33 months membership. That is incredible. Yeah, and whenever you need some information or whatever, we'll be here. But yeah, they're in a good place right now. And we are going to be vigilant. Even when things look great, we're always going to be vigilant. We're going to be there to celebrate their victories. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, you know that Charles and Godzilla are in Canada right now. Someone created an illustration here. No, I am king I am the king of Canada. So as you can see, Charles, the Canadian Mounties, the hockey teams, and everybody, they are there to stave off an invasion by Donald Trump and his MAGA people. You can see there's a couple of guys with MAGA hats there. Yeah, so I love this. This is pretty cool. And of course, what a heroic king would Charles be if he didn't go horseback. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Right there at the border. The King's Canada visit should teach Trump a lesson, it says. This illustration, I believe it was in the Telegraph. I think it was in the Telegraph. So there is Charles and Camilla exiting the plane there. Camilla looking like the picture of unhealth that she usually appears. And of course, it looks like they're on an official Canadian aircraft. What's that? I don't know if it's going to be Charles or William, but one of them will be the last king of the UK, of the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for that, Kevin Slims. I hope that it ends with Chuck. I do. I don't ever want to see William in that position. I hope that Charles is the last king. So, yeah, let's hope he's the last. But thank you so much for the super chat. And of course, leave it to Camilla to look at the camera. Why does this old broad always have to look at the camera? It's like she just can't help herself. Such attention-seeking behavior. She's always peering at the camera with those old gnarly bloodshot eyes of hers. Uh-oh, did that by accident. Where am I? Oh, uh-oh. Where's the thing at? Oh, Lord. Sorry, did that by mistake. No, it was a mistake. Yeah, but she's so fixated in making sure that she is peering into the camera. And for what? Nobody's interested. But it's like, oh, there's a camera right there. Maybe that's her way of frightening little children so that they won't misbehave. Maybe she has a deal with someone. Okay, here's another one. See what I mean? Nobody else in the family does that. She's always peering at the camera. Or should I say, leering at the camera? Is she trying to send a message to someone? That's what I think. I think it's some type of message. It's coded. Yeah, it is code. There's a purpose for it. And mind you, she's been doing this for years. Here's look at this one. She has been doing this for years. If she's trying to scare me, guys, yes, she has succeeded. Every time I look and see her looking back at me, my honest response is that's my honest response. She can cure the hiccups. Yeah, she is the cure for the worst case of hiccups ever. You know how they say when someone has the hiccups, you ought to scare them? I tell you what, take a screenshot of this. Take a screenshot of it. Well, what do you know? Charles is meeting with someone from one of the First Nations, one of the natives that he's meeting with, one of the First Nations tribal leaders. And I thought about that. I'm just like, why is Charles all of a sudden so interested, especially on his first day? He's barely even gotten into the door, and already he's meeting with someone from one of the tribes, right? This is why. This is why. Because Harry and Meghan totally embarrassed the royal family with their visit to Canada last time, because they, I think, as royals, they spent more time with anyone from the First Nation than any other royal that has ever gone to Canada. I really do believe that. That's why. That's why. This is why. And they even said at the time that they spoke about that, about how Queen Elizabeth, I think it was Queen Elizabeth, was supposed to meet with someone from the First Nation, and they had gone through all of this trouble to put together some kind of greeting or celebration or dinner or something like that for the Queen, and they didn't show up. It was either for the Queen or for Charles, I don't recall, but it was someone else in the royal family that they went through all of this preparation and they did not show up. So they were very appreciative that Harry and Meghan honored their commitment. Yeah. So that is why Charles and his concubine are going through. Oh, and by the way, as I said yesterday, I don't know if William is going to be king anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, because Charles looks like hell. This looks like someone who's in pain, someone who is very low on energy. If I had to choose between the two, oh, I hate to choose. I don't want to choose, but it's going to happen someday. And don't forget, Harry and Meghan received those beautiful blankets from the First Nation, which was absolutely wonderful. You could see the connection that they made while they were there. Yep, they definitely made great connections while they were there. But this is what the royal family was so short-sighted about Harry and Meghan's ability to, to be an asset. Instead of seeing them as an enemy, they should have seen the two of them as an asset. But the jealousy, I really do believe jealousy was the biggest motivation. Plain and simple jealousy. Like, take a look at this. There's Charles dropping the puck. You do know that this is the end of May. You do know you're not inside of a hockey rink. You are standing outside under the blazing sun wearing that two-piece suit, right? But he didn't want to get left out. He didn't want to get left out. Why? Because of this. He wanted to do like Mummy, and he wanted to do like Harry. Harry and Mummy beat him to it. This whole trip with Charles and Camilla, this whole trip, you're going to see certain aspects of the Sussexes trip, certain little parts of their trip is going to play out for Charles and Camilla. This is number 2. Number 1 was meeting with the First Nation. Number 2, the hockey puck. See what I mean? And it's so obvious. They don't even try to hide it. They don't even try to hide it. It's so obvious. I'm embarrassed for them. I'm really embarrassed. They should be ashamed. But they have no shame.
Right. Andre for your service, Francesco for your leadership, and Prince Harry for making the Invictus Games a reality. Today, the Vancouver Canucks and Canucks Sports and Entertainment opens its arms to proudly welcome the most inspirational athletes from around the world here to participate in the 2025 Invictus Games.
Is he there? Wow. How embarrassing for them. How embarrassing. Anything. Wow. Can you believe it? They're not even in a hockey rink. They're standing outside. They're standing outside. And yet, they insist on having that photo op. You know, I almost feel sorry for Charles because he's so pathetic. He really is. He's so pathetic. That's what makes it so sad, is just that he's so pathetic. Oh wow, was that February this year? Or was that last year? No, that had to be February 2024, right? No, it was 2023. That was November of 2023. Let me see. Was it that long ago? Wow. Okay, yeah, it definitely wasn't 2024. I had no idea that it was so long ago. My goodness, time has gone by. Yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah, from what I can tell, it seemed like it seemed like Harry had the oh well. Oh well. Very cool, Harry. Let me see here. Lex says bet Charles III probably brought up Harry and Meghan visit with was it to get access to some of these events, yet in public pretend that none of this is connected to Harry and Meghan. Thank you very much, Legs. Yeah. Yeah, I'm it's like they have let me see here. Cartoon forgets the Will and Kate. What is that? Will and Kate? No, Will and Charles III groveling to that. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to that one. Oh, and by the way, thank you for that super chat. Let's go back to that one. The cartoon. That one. There you go. Again, you guys, that was in the Telegraph, I believe. Oliver Girl, multiple belly laughs. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I am so glad to share this time with you on Memorial Day here in the US. Okay, you guys, I am just about done. Let me find that. Okay. Oh, I got a soundbite to play for you. I got this, and then we're gonna close it with something else. So let me do this one. You know, I saved this yesterday, and do you know I forgot what the heck it was about? But it was something that I thought was necessary. So let's see.
How friendly they are.
But with that interview, it didn't land in the way that they had hoped. Yeah. And so, you know, they have gone out.
Okay. There's one before that one that I want to play that one first. And then we'll get back to that one. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see.
He created these with that interview. It didn't land in the way that they had hoped. Yeah. And so, you know, they have gone out and obviously created these moments or designed opportunities for them to be seen and for the story to move on. And I think that was absolutely the only thing they could have done.
Well handled, basically.
What are your thoughts on the meeting they had, though, with Brooklyn Beckham and his wife, Nicola Peltz Beckham? Because
with that.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. It was about the Beckhams. Okay, now listen carefully to this.
They could have done.
Well handled, basically.
What are your thoughts on the meeting they had, though, with Brooklyn Beckham and his wife, Nicola Peltz Beckham? Because I thought that was very random.
It's so random.
It's so random.
Well, I mean, it's sort of victims summit, was it? I don't know. I thought it was a bit daft. If you're going to do it's again sending messages out. I don't know how friendly they are.
Well, and I think we need to clarify as well. It wasn't just the two couples. There was part of a dinner party, around 20 people.
But was it at their Montecito?
It wasn't. It was hosted by Tracy Robbins, Brian Robbins, who is the CEO of Paramount, Nickelodeon. I think that, we know David Beckham has connections, doesn't he, with Paramount. And so I think this was not engineered to be, as you described it, a kind of summit of these two couples.
It wasn't so much those two taking the
same place.
I very much doubt they talked about family, is what I'm gathering.
Well, we don't even know how much they actually spoke to each other. To be honest. I mean, it was a good story.
But
maybe a bit of something of nothing, though.
There are strong parallels, and we've seen certainly if that is going on in Montecito, the King has been spending plenty of time with David Beckham as well. So it's kind of working on both sides.
And Catherine wore Victoria Beckham just a few days after.
Well, that was a fascinating.
So that was that was interesting.
Nothing in royal life tends to happen by accident.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you were there when the Beckhams, when David was him and the King seemed to be enjoying very much a bromance.
We talked about this earlier. It's really interesting.
And he had the rose on. And,
exactly. Well, this is also coming
rose,
back.
And the Queen was chatting about gifts they've given.
Yeah, exactly.
Sent him or whatever.
It's interesting, but I think again it goes down to trying to.
Okay, what's so awful and diabolical about this is that initially they start off, they're doing the tune. Oh, the Beckhams met with Harry and Meghan, Peltz and Brooklyn. They met with Harry and Meghan, knowing full well that the dinner party did not take place at the Sussex household. And then, of course, at a certain point, did you hear when Robert Jobson says, well, it makes for a good story? It makes for a good story. At any given point, they could have maintained the idea that Harry and Meghan had lured those young people over to their house just to make trouble for David and Victoria Beckham, who they don't even have a relationship with, never did have a relationship with them. They were just some of the people that were invited to the wedding as a notable couple in the country, right? As someone who was pretty much invited to everything and is still invited to everything. The only thing that they don't invite David Beckham for is for his knighthood. So the transition from, what do you think about the, what did they call it? Misery Summit or whatever they called it, before they finally decided to admit it was a dinner party that was thrown by the Robinsons. It had nothing, or Robbins. It had nothing to do with Harry and Meghan. That was very shameful. But I'm glad they did that because they demonstrated exactly how easy it is to manipulate something as innocuous as a dinner party. They could easily have exploited that before they decided that they wouldn't. So I don't know if this will ever get the exposure that it deserves. It doesn't seem like a really big deal, but it does help to make the case that they don't report the news, they make it up and they tell you what is news. Just like Harry said, they don't report the news, they just tell you what it is. And it's shameful. They don't care who gets hurt. They don't care if it creates hostility against the Sussexes or against the Beckhams for that matter. Okay, thank you, Hazel Jones said the Beckhams was Charles Guest at Harriet. And why? Because they invite them to this, that, and the other, because the Beckhams are useful. David Beckham is like a magnet for a certain crowd that Charles wants to be in great favor with or whatever. So, and William uses David Beckham much in the same way. And I'm pretty sure that the knighthood will only happen after Charles is deceased. They're going to leave it to William to give him that knighthood. I'm pretty sure they've already agreed upon that. All David Beckham has to do is to keep showing up. Keep showing up. That's it. Since it is normal for them, they need to change with the times, where harming families in that way is seen as unacceptable. Yeah. That transition, though, that transition to, well, it's a good story. Let me play that part again.
With Paramount. And so I think this was not
Coincidence.
engineered to be as you described it, a kind of summit of these two couples.
It wasn't
who are,
so much those
no,
two taking
on the
They were
action
in the
on
same
their own.
place.
Yeah.
I very much doubt they talked about family, is what I'm gathering.
Well, we
then.
don't even know how much they actually spoke to each
Yeah,
other. To
exactly.
be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good story.
But
Maybe a bit of
these-
something of nothing, though.
there
Yeah.
are strong parallels, and we've seen, certainly, if that is going on in Montecito, the king has been spending plenty of time with David Beckham as well, so it's kind of working on both sides.
And Catherine wore Victoria Beckham just a few days after.
You see there? First, there's the admission that, oh, well, it makes for a good story. And then they go on to say, well, the king has been spending a lot of time with David Beckham. And then it goes on to, well, Kate did wear that. They could have easily exploited the idea that Kate Middleton was trying to be shady by wearing the Victoria Beckham. They could have made a whole article out of that, several articles. They could have talked about that for days. Is Kate trying to be shady? Is Kate sending a message? They'll never do it because of the invisible contract. But they could have exploited that in any possible way, and they choose to not do it. And the same with the king spending so much time with David Beckham. We all know what that's about. Because the royals, they use other people's celebrity to build themselves up. They have to do that. The more that you can paint them as dull and uneventful, the more they're likely to cling to someone else's celebrity, which is why you have to go and celebrate at Buckingham Palace. That's why you have to get the trophy from Kate Middleton or William the Terrible. That's why you have to do that, because it helps to build their brand. Your moment becomes their moment. Anyway, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the background that I use for these people is some disease or virus. Did you notice that? I decided that the backdrop for their petty conversation ought to be some type of disease or virus. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. And on our way out, let's have a moment of silence, please. A moment of silence. Keep a candle burning for all the people we have loved and lost in our lives. Let's keep this burning all around the world. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing that moment with everyone, as we have done here at Royal Sussex on so many occasions. And I'm very it. Let me tell you, you do not know how much it means to me that you all see this as a safe space. That means a lot. That means that is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And we're not just here to be in service to the Sussexes, but to be in service to each other. So thank you all very much. Thank you again, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And you don't have to wait until Memorial Day or birthdays or holidays to reflect on the lives that have come and gone, the people we've loved and lost. Don't have to wait till then. But this is a national holiday here in the United States, an excuse for a 3-day weekend. So might as well enjoy our time off if you have it. I hope you made the most of it. I hope you spent it with family. Okay, let me go back up top here. So let me see. They did talk about Kate wearing Victoria's fashion. They repeated that story for 2 weeks straight. They did go, or let me see. They did go, or Meghan, because, are you saying they did that because Meghan used to wear Victoria's designs, but they stopped talking? Yeah, I knew that had something to do with the fact that Meghan had wore some of Victoria's fashions. And of course, that's no longer obligatory because Meghan is no longer over there. But when Meghan was there, Meghan made sure that she showcased British fashion, which is the right thing to do. Just as the First Lady of the United States showcases American fashions. And when they travel, just like the royals, when they travel, they usually showcase the local fashions. It is the polite thing to do. But I don't know of any situation that proves that the Sussexes and the who are those people? The Beckhams. I just don't know that they were ever close. Harry knew a lot of people. A lot of people knew Harry. A lot of people are invited to things that Harry was invited to when he was a single man. But that does not mean that they were close. Close means there's pictures, right? Close means that there's a lot of photos. If there are no photos, then they were not close. Unless it's someone that, has been discreetly their friends for a period of time. But the thing is, at some point, when they make public those friendships, you're going to see a photo or two, right? I'm trying to imagine, aside from the wedding reception, where is there a photo of Meghan and Posh? I don't think it exists. Jacqueline Rippey says it looks like those royals are really worried about losing the monarchy. I think that if it happened, they would be blindsided because I don't believe that they expect that it ever would. But I tell you, Hazel Jones made a hell of a point yesterday. Hazel Jones said in the absence of Charles, when Charles goes down to the storm cellar, right there in the basement of the St. George Cathedral, when he goes down in the storm cellar with Philip and Lizzie and, you know, his grandparents, when that time comes, right? William's courtiers are the men with beards, right? Charles' courtiers are the men in gray suits. I don't know that any of the men in gray suits occupy a space in Kensington Palace. I don't know that there are any men in gray suits that occupy a space in Kensington Palace. But when that time comes, will William seek counsel from the men in gray suits? Or will he remain dependent upon those men in rainbow tutus? Will he remain dependent upon his bearded men in rainbow tutus? That is the question. Hazel was wondering if there would be a war. She says there might be a war between the men in gray suits and the bearded men in rainbow tutus. That can get ugly. But if there's one thing that Charles should worry about, and that is the fact that what he's done to his mother, right? He should not be surprised if he gets the same treatment from his son, right? He should not be surprised if he get that same treatment from his son. This is all so speculative. Who knows exactly what's going to happen? Things may happen really fast, or Charles may linger with illness for months or years. We just don't know. But I feel as though there seems to be a rush to get William ready for that throne. It seems to be a bit of a rush. So, not sure what's going to happen. Kate did an amazing job the other day. She couldn't talk, but she looked perfect for the role. The only other time that she looked that perfect was for Trooping the Colors, and I'm trying to think what else. And perhaps I think it was the last couple Trooping the Colors. She actually looked like she belonged in that role. And she can maintain that ruse as long as she doesn't try to speak, because if she talks, if she opens up her mouth and tries to talk, then the gig is up. And I'm just like, they done bought her some new clothes. They created this situation where she's christening a ship. Not, what's her name? Princess Anne, who doesn't seem to work as much lately since her injuries. You know, the ankle and getting head-butted by a horse. She doesn't seem to be working so much. At least she's not very visible. And her husband, her longtime companion, Tim Lawrence, whatever his name is, you don't see him that often. I don't see him with Anne on a lot of these occasions. So it seems as though he's like, yeah, I'm done. Seems like it. And the slim down monarchy is getting slimmer by the day. Think about it. If Charles goes soon, and I'm not wishing anything bad on him, but if Charles goes soon, how long before they can lean upon the Cambridge children. How long before that's possible? Now, as Will and Kate said, that they were going to protect those kids and they're not going to let them be some public spectacle. Well, we all know that that didn't last long. That didn't last long. Those kids became very public, very fast. Yes, the horse detectives are out in force trying to solve that mystery, right? They called upon the horse detectives. I didn't even know that there was a horse detective, but yeah. Afro Annie, let me see, but she has horse and mouth disease lately. Too soon? No, it's never too soon. It is never too soon. Yeah, never too soon. Well, apparently she stopped smoking. They said she stopped smoking. Let me see. I keep saying that Will and Kate have no control over how their children look back at this time and see what their parents did and how they treated the Sussexes. Bad examples. Yeah. Well, we all know that at least one of those children seems to have very observant eyes. Someone is like soaking it up like a sponge, and that appears to be Charlotte. Charlotte seems to be very aware. And that's just based on these few public appearances. She seems to be very aware of her family. Now, how she responds to that is anybody's guess, but she seems to be very aware. Anastasia, thank you so much for being here. I meant to say hi earlier. But you never know. Everybody thought that William was going to be Diana's revenge upon the family, and William turned into a complete company man. So you can't really depend on people to react with the same type of emotions that, we as individuals would possibly react in those situations. But isn't that something, you guys? Harry's Shanghai surprise. Harry has gone all the way to Shanghai for this event, and I could not be more pleased. I'm so happy about that. Oh man, Harry the Ninja Warrior with his very stealth-like moves. Okay, I got to go back and watch that one. Oh, by the way, I I saved a picture. Let me see here. I want to share a picture from the event that Harry took. This one. I don't know if I shared this one before, but there you go. Now, what is the lady on the right side? What are they looking at? Is she checking out Harry's butt or what? What is she looking at? Huh? What is she looking at? She's checking out something. Well, one of the squatties on the Instagram is saying, not Instagram, but on the Twitter is saying that the Queen made sure Harry got free before she died. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. You guys, I am done for today. So if you need to go, I am done. I'm just shooting the breeze here just a little bit. Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. This is so cute. I gotta share it. This is so cute. This is so cute. I gotta share it. I gotta share it. I gotta share it. It's so cute. It's so cute. It is so cute. Thank you to the squatty who posted that. How cute is that? Harry's frog face boots, right? Archie's Peppa Pig theme, and Lily's rainbows. Yes, they got their wellies on. In the UK, they call those Wellingtons, those hermetically sealed, galvanized, whatever boots. They call them wellies, the Wellingtons. For the Duke of Wellington, who, if I'm right about this, he wanted a boot that was waterproof. So what did they do? Dip it in tar or something like that? But anyway, they call them wellies. Ollie B, thank you so much for the new membership. Do you know I haven't had a new membership in I don't know how long? Thank you so much for that. Thank you for supporting Royal Sussex. How about that? Is that yes, 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 yes. I love those kids. I love those kids. They grow up so fast. They grow up so fast. That is super, super cute. Oh. She looks like a little duckling. Oh. Okay, I can't share that because of the music, but that is cute. Okay, let me see if I can find something else interesting to share with you all before I go. Oh, Us Magazine, Us Weekly says Meghan Markle is returning to Netflix with Love, Meghan, season 2. Everything to know. Wow, it is May. They say that it's going to premiere this fall. Are we in a slow news cycle or what? Why are we talking about something for the fall? But that's okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. Long as it's something positive. Very cold Botswana. It's winter here, y'all. Enjoying the pics under the blanket. Well, thank you so much for saying hello, and I hope that you stay warm. Yeah, I forget Botswana does get kind of cold because I do remember when Harry was there, everybody had on their coats, especially at nighttime. So it is unseasonably cool here in the Midwest. For some reason, it is unseasonably cool. But that happens almost every year. But when the heat comes, it is going to come. Oh, by the way, you guys, I was speaking the other day about the CTA guy, the voice that you hear on the train that says, you know, the one that announced the stops for the trains and the buses. If you're from Chicago and you would like to see who that person is, or if you've ever been to Chicago and you'd like to see who that person is, go to the community post because I posted the video where they talked to the guy who started doing the voices for the Chicago mass transit years ago. So if you're kind of a nerd and you're interested in that type of thing, you could just go there and hear his story. I wonder if he got together with Mind the Gap, Please. Wouldn't that be interesting? That would make a great love story. If the guy from the CTA train was to get into a hot and heavy relationship with the woman from the tube. Mind the Gap, Please. This is the Piccadilly line to Cockfoster. Mind the Gap, please. This is the Piccadilly line to Cockfoster. Mind the Gap, please. You know, the first time I went to the UK, I didn't know what I was doing. I got off the plane at Heathrow and I went and followed everybody else. I just followed other people. And next thing you know, I saw Piccadilly line to Cockfoster. I said, well, that sounds familiar. Why don't I get on that train? And then, of course, I had printed out some hostels because I didn't have a smartphone. It was 2007. Nobody had a smartphone. So you would have to depend on the internet cafes. Well, I printed out the names of some hostels, but I didn't know how to get around the city. And so I was carrying my backpack and I was in Piccadilly Circus. When the train got to Piccadilly Circus, I knew that that's where I wanted to be. So I saw it on television. That's where I wanted to be. So I get off the train and I'm taking pictures. And I saw this guy that looked very Latin, like he was from Italy or from Spain or something like that. And I saw he was carrying a backpack. I said, hey, are you a tourist? He said, yeah. I said, really? Where are you staying? He said, just down the road. It's called the Piccadilly Backpackers. Really? I said, just right there. He's like, yeah. I said, okay. So I walked down the road and that's where I stayed. And when I went back, I stayed there again. They're closed now, though. Gosh, that was fun. Just living by the seat of your pants. You know what I mean? Just having an adventure like that. That was fun. Oh, right here it says, Mail on Sunday still struggling to move copies even at £2.30. Yet again, we see a magnet. A magnet. Why don't you say magnet? Yet again, we see a manic attempt to sell. So they offer readers pure fiction, liberally sprinkled with hate, just as their readers like it. You see, it's love-hate relationship. Male hates her, but desperately needs her. Oh, am I following this person? I like that. I am not, but I will. This person has I'll show you what she has, what she's quoting here, or why she made that quote or statement. I'm going to save this. This is going to be one of my receipts, or at least something to use later on. Let me see here. By the way, yesterday, did you guys listen to Lady Sussex? Oh, I loved it. That was a great Lady Sussex yesterday. They covered some really interesting stuff. Okay. You see there? And what I like about this, isn't that exactly what I said, like, 2 days ago? Or was it yesterday? I said that the Daily Mail is desperate. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? This is an act of desperation. Let me see. Oh, there it is right there. Nope, there we go. Harry's new royal court in California. The Daily Mail has gotten so desperate that they have accused the Sussexes of having a royal court. They had this big blaring headline, Harry's new royal court. And she's pretty much saying the same thing that I said, is that it is not just hate. It's not just about profit. It is desperation for profits. That's exactly what they're up against, is that their readership is declining. One of the people responded, what makes it royal? ? Don't most businesses have staff? And Trisha responded, Trisha Day says, we all know that, but you see they're irrelevant non-royals one day, and the next day, say they're royals. In fact, if you scroll through the royals section of Mail Online, they have more articles with the names Harry, Meghan, or both than the royals we pay for as they're boring. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to follow that person. I think that's very interesting. Okay. All right, you guys, shall we call it? I am done. Just sharing a few more moments with you all. Oh, what's that? I did the same thing when I visited Tennessee and Chicago a couple of years ago. Huh? What'd you do? You know, I done said so much. I don't know what I said. Oh, you're talking about my going to the hostel and yeah, just traveling and not know where you're going to stay type of things. Let me see. Let me see. Hostels were the jam in my young traveler days. Oh, happy days. The Uno dorms in the summer breaks. You know, Oliver Girl, as you know, I am somewhere north of 50, possibly north of 60, possibly. And I had such a good time at the hostels. When I was north of 40, I had a good time at the hostels. Um, it's like I didn't feel out of place there. And usually I was not the oldest one there. I was not even the oldest one there. So you can still enjoy the hostels just as much now as, of course, you know, if you're traveling with family and everything, you may not want to do that. But just, you know, FYI to anybody listening, um, I enjoy the hostels. Now, there were a few places I visited where the hotels were pretty cheap because I was traveling during the off season. So I stayed at a hotel just to have a little extra privacy and everything to be able to sleep in uninterrupted. But if I'm tired enough, I'm going to sleep wherever I am. So um, I enjoyed the hostels. I had such interesting conversations, met some interesting people, a lot of people traveling for business or whatever. Very interesting. And one day um, I decided to let my guard down and I went on a pub crawl. There was a pub crawl that was sponsored by the hostel. There was some history as well as a walking tour. And it doesn't take much to get me to that point. So um, it was in Portugal. I felt very safe. I had so much fun. And again, that was something that I usually don't do. But I actually hung out with some of the people at the hostel. Rarely have I ever done that. As many times as I've stayed at the hostel, it's so rare that I ever actually hang out with anyone. But that was one of those occasions, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I did have a private room in Seville. I had a private room at the hostel. Part of the time I stayed at the hostel. The other part of the time I stayed with a friend that lives in Seville. And the hostel was very clean. I was in something like a family room. There was a large bed and there was bunk beds. And I had my own bathroom. It was my own room. And it was during the off season, so they were not crowded. I got it at a super cheap price, and that was a fun surprise. But if not, I was perfectly willing to pay the extra money to stay in a dorm. Oh, Jacqueline Rippey. Yeah, get some rest. We're done. I'm just talking a little bit here and there. I promise you're not going to miss a thing. Prince Harry in Shanghai. I love it. I love it. Oh, by the way, they had Charles plant a tree today. He looked totally exhausted, totally knackered by the time he was finished. I'm so British, right? He was knackered. What does that mean, knackered? Does that mean tired? And peckish means hungry, right? Let me see. What does knackered mean? Past tense, knackered. Past, let me see, knackered. This weekend has really knackered me. I knackered my ankle playing on Sunday. Those are some of the examples. So does knackered mean kind of injured or something, or tired, or both? Anna Boyd, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Greatly, greatly appreciate the support for Royal Sussex. Okay. I'm going to do like, is it Charles or George on Lady Sussex? Where does the word knackered come from? Late 16th century, originally denoting a harness maker, then a slaughterer of horses, possibly from obsolete knack, trinket. The word also had the sense old, worn out horse. This is getting interesting, right? Queen knackered. Okay, the word also had a sense old, worn out horse. Late 18th century, knacker, sense two of the noun, maybe from dialect knacker, castanet, from obsolete knack, make a sharp, abrupt noise of informative origin. It is unclear whether the verb represents a figurative use of slaughter from knacker, sense one of the noun, or castrate from knacker, sense two of the noun. You know what? I was satisfied with old, worn out horse. I really was. I was satisfied with the old, worn out horse. So Camilla is the embodiment of knackered. Yeah. At a certain period in history, to be knackered was to be Camilla. It all is coming so clear now. Okay. You know, and what a coincidence. What a coincidence. And I'm going to tell you why. Because just by chance, let me see. Wait for it. Let me see. Oh no. Okay. Let me try this. Let me try this. I cannot find it. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Just by coincidence. Remember I made this? I've been rained on, rode hard, and put away wet. Also known as knackered. There you go. There you go. It is all coming about. Yes. Now it all makes sense. Now it all makes sense. The embodiment of knackered. I've been rained on, rode hard, and put away wet. Or as Legs would say, ugh. Ugh. Do you guys remember that when Legs said she looked like she just went, ugh? Like something just took its last breath. Ugh. Oh my God, we laughed so hard that night. Let's see, Legs says, just look like the wind is let out of her sails, doesn't it? Woo! Oh man. And then you guys wonder, why do I often say I kind of miss Queen Elizabeth? If I just have to look at somebody, I think I'd rather, pass the time having the occasional view of Queen Elizabeth rather than this mound of rotting, decaying flesh. Oh, it's a whole world of a difference. Ugh. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh, you think so? I'm gonna make sure I tell her that. I'm gonna make sure I tell her that. I will. Yeah, I swore I would never dye my hair, but here I am. With whatever color that is. Auburn, reddish, Carper tone. Although I'm kind of alarmed at how pale. I need to get more sun. I really do need to get more sun. I'm not getting enough, what is it, vitamin D? Because I look so pale in that picture. Yes, we were kind of what do you call it, loopy, because it was an 8-hour marathon, which I don't know when we're gonna do it, but we have to. I wanna do another members only where we can really dig into those people that may be sitting on the throne really soon, because I rather enjoy all of the what do you call it? The conspiracies surrounding those two. Um, I just think it's very interesting. Poor Camilla. Oh, by the way, there is a photo of Macron that has been recently released since that incident on the plane. Surely this is AI. Or is it his eye? Is it AI or his eye? I'm going to assume it's AI. Also, the president of France may want to make a visit to his dentist because it looks as though there's a bit of what is that they say? A spot of bother. It appears as though he has a spot of bother. Hmm. You know, I'm kind of concerned for her because when he went back the other way, I wonder exactly what that was about. Great episode. It's time for me to hit the sack. Good night, squaddies. On another note, have you seen or discussed the movie Sinners? I have not seen it, and I had an opportunity to see it, but because I did the split in a shower, I did a complete split, the most athletic move that I've made in years. I was actually traveling at the time, and there was a movie theater like right there, and I didn't get to it. But thank you so much, Kat Harlem, for the super chat, and thank you for being a member. I want to see it because I want to support that guy's work. But yeah, unfortunately, I had that incident happen, so that was out of the question at that point. By the way, you guys, I'm feeling much better from that split, that pulled hamstring. Every day it gets easier. I still feel it. I still feel it, but it hasn't even been a week. So every day it gets easier. So thank goodness for that. I didn't injure anything that would cause greater problems. So you know what? I have not posted that in a while. So let me do that while I'm looking at it. I'm gonna pin this to the top of the chat. Remember, they are still taking donations for the Prince Archie, Princess Lilibet birthday celebration. And if you don't remember Prince Archie and Lilibet, let me help you out. Oh, they're so cute. I love them so much. They are so cute. I absolutely love those kids. So if you don't know to whom I speak of, oh boy, did I get it? Got it. A mosquito. I just got it. Yes. It was flying in front of my monitor, and I just got it. You know, I break this whole room trying to kill that mosquito. You know that, don't you? I hate mosquitoes. Oh, man. I tell you, those reflexes are still. Wait, are you all still there? I thought I logged myself out. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, my hands are so sore from that clap, that massive clap that I just did, but I got that mosquito. First, I tried to slap the computer monitor, and then he started bobbing and weaving, and eventually I was able to smash him between my mammoth, bloated baby boomer hands. Could you imagine if King Charles III was to try to smash a mosquito? He'd turn it into dust instantly. Charles would turn that mosquito into dust. It would barely make a smear if Charles was to take those mammoth hands of his and slap a mosquito. I bet you Charles could punch through a cinder block with those big hands of his. Yeah, I bought my flowers for the season, right? And I went out and this is like I should do it when the sun is shining direct. I shouldn't do it in the shade. But yeah, the mosquitoes are going to get me. So I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to do what I need to do and be done with it. So the other thing I do is I take my hand vac after after I know I've let some in, I take my hand vac and I stand there and just, wherever I see them, I just suck them right into the vacuum because they don't go far once they come in. They usually stay near the light. So that is what I do to try to get rid of them. But that one, obviously, I missed it. They're asking if the driver in Liverpool was drunk. Now, there is a bit of a conspiracy because on the video, the person driving the vehicle does not look 53 years old. But the person that they have arrested looks 53 years old. So, don't know what that means. I'm just saying that is a little bit of a conspiracy. Why does the person who has been arrested look so different? Rebecca English says, no one should underestimate the significance of this. Okay, she don't say what this is, but she said this. And of course, she's with Charles and Camilla in Canada. So we should not underestimate the visit. Let me see. Rebecca English reveals King Charles' subtle move that got royal sources whispering. That's interesting. Lex says, are you saying Charles III is Ralph breaks the internet? Wait, what? Are you saying Charles III is Ralph breaks the internet? Breaks the internet? I don't know how he could. I don't know how he could. What am I missing there? But thank you for the super chat. I'm going to open this one up. Because I see protest signs, so they have piqued my interest. God, why am I itching now? I feel like there's another mosquito that is waiting for me to dive out of this chair to try to kill it. Okay, I'm using that little trick to go around the paywall. The mosquitoes are out in Tennessee. Yes. Let me see. Oh, okay. I never heard of that before. It's a movie title. His name is Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, I'm sorry. I never heard of that one before. Is it a fun movie? Because I need something light to watch. I'll watch that. Okay, so today is okay. Get your tiny hands off, and they have the American flag. Hands off Canada. Is Rebecca English trying to say that Charles is somehow going to stare down Donald Trump? Is that what this means? Oh, listen to this. There is no other world leader like him who is a head of state in 14 countries. And yes, while it's an interesting situation with Canada, the UK and the US, what he does have, not least because he is 76 years old and has been doing this for rather a long time, are warm, sincere personal relationships with political leaders across the globe and across the political spectrum. Setting aside intergovernmental issues, they all hold him in high personal regard. One royal source says, I'm told not to expect any firecrackers in Parliament tomorrow. Now, as I said, that is Rebecca English. Rebecca English is definitely going to toe the party line. She's been doing it for decades, and she'll continue to do it. This idea that Charles somehow will be able to navigate a firestorm from Donald Trump, who has no regard for any human being alive or dead. Do you think Donald Trump has so much regard for Charles that he's not going to act a fool? Because anybody who believes that has not been paying attention. Donald Trump is very unpredictable. Now, the whole thing about the 51st state was a bunch of nonsense. It was a distraction. It means absolutely nothing. And of course, it's not even worth talking about. But this idea that Charles is going to be some kind of, what do you call it, valve or some type of source to relieve the pressure, I don't see it. I don't see it. So anyway, for Rebecca English, in regards to Rebecca English saying that how Charles is somehow so vital and important, I have one thing to say to Rebecca.
Hey girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Stars,
they come and go. Yes, sit down, girl, because you're talking nonsense. You know, Marshart, the thing is, Donald Trump would cause a great deal of embarrassment if he chooses to. He has the ability to cause embarrassment, which is why so many people are fearful of him. It's not exactly like there's going to be any level of violence. The point is, he will find some of the talking points that could make you feel very uncomfortable. It's something that he's very good at. And if he is triggered, he will definitely unleash hell. Now, because there's a state visit coming up, there's nothing to worry about. But to say that Charles, in some kind of way, is a foil for Donald Trump, no. No. Nothing could be further from the truth. Donald Trump is only interested in what Donald Trump is interested in. I use Soft So Soft from Avon. It works to keep the mosquitoes away. Well, I do have one mosquito bite that I have been, I use some hydrocortisone cream. That's what I've been putting on it because it has been itching like crazy. Ah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm guessing the government of Canada invited Charles. Well, anyway, Charles is going to open up Parliament tomorrow, so that should be interesting. That'll give me something to drag. I'm sure that will give me something to drag. I feel kind of bad for Macron. What is Macron's first name? President Macron, what is his first name? I always forget. The only way that he can, well, I won't say it's the only way, but I don't think that anybody is interested in causing embarrassment to Charles because, after all, the man is said reportedly to be ill. So who's going to pick on someone who is fighting for their lives? The man is supposed to be ill, so why would somebody do that? That would be very cruel. So they're not going to pick on him. Oh, Macron is in Vietnam. I didn't know that. They're in Vietnam. Wasn't Vietnam a French colony in the past? Oh, wow. Charles III is going to drag that proposed illness to his grave. He wants the sympathy from the people and the adulation without pushback until he does right by his son and son's family. He will get no peace, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Absolutely. No justice, no peace. Oh, they're saying the Sussexes snuck away for an anniversary trip. That's according to Hello Magazine. A romantic spa break in Arizona? Yeah, well, until we have proof, that's just what they say. There's no photos to support that. And if it is true, good for them. I'm glad. Shelly L says, "Hi, Baron. Hi, Squatties. I finally caught you, Baron. The perfect thing for your mosquito bite. Make a paste out of baking soda, put it on the bite, let it dry. Rinse with cold water. No more sting." Thank you so much for the information, and thank you for the super chat. So, give up the hydrocortisone. I do have baking soda. I keep baking soda. I use it as a non-abrasive cleaner. I use it to clean my cutting board. Baking soda and lemon. I also use that to clean the stainless steel sink. Baking soda and lemon. I eat a lot of lemons, so I just put a little bit on that, on the lemon peel, on the unused squeezed lemon. And I use that to wipe stuff down with. Yeah, well, I'll try that. Make a paste with baking soda, put it on there, and just set it and forget it. No more stinging. Well, you know what happens is that when the hydrocortisone wears away, then it starts to itch again. But I usually put the cortisone on and let it sit. And it still itches and itches and itches. Then all of a sudden it stops. But if the baking soda is the cure, I'm all for it. I'm all for the cure. Emmanuel. That's his name. How do I forget Emmanuel? Did somebody tell me and I missed that? Emmanuel Macron. It's French. Emmanuel Macron. Emmanuel Macron. It is French. And that's how you pronounce it. Emmanuel Macron. And that's what they call French. Emmanuel Macron. You guys, I'm sorry, but the guy opens up the van, right? The guy opens up the van. You see his face, not clearly, but the face does not look like a 53-year-old man. And then they're showing a picture of a 53-year-old man, and they're saying that that was the driver. That is weird. Let me see. Shelly L says it works great for sunburns too. Thank you very much. You know, I kind of feel sorry for Janet Jackson. It'd be kind of tough for her to do some of the moves that she used to do. She uses her arms a lot now. Have you noticed that? She work her arms a lot more than she used to. She's not as you know, she don't shake it up like she used to. Which is to be expected. I mean, after all, um she's when did she have that baby? Yep, her and Madonna. And I just saw Paula Abdul. Paula Abdul was dancing, and I promise you, the backup dancers, they maintained contact with her at all time, just in case. Have you guys seen that? Poor Paula. She had got on top of some kind of thing on the stage, and this guy maintained contact with her every step of the way. Paula, Janet, anybody who's gotten by with their dancing and playing tracks and never really did sing. I feel sorry for them. But she worked them arms a lot, don't she? She don't hardly move nothing else, but them arms, they be going. Ooh, them arms be going. I'm like, work them arms, Janet, and nothing else. Work it. Work those arms. Yep, her arms just be flailing about all over the place. I think it's time to retire, though. I mean, you can't tell a person what to do. She grown. But it's time to hang it up. It really is time to hang it up. It's a dignified thing to do, is to just go ahead and call it, right? When it don't make sense anymore, because trying to get by with these little dance numbers and everything, I get it. But it's embarrassing and it causes anxiety. I get very anxious when I see Paula being held up by her backup dancers. I get very anxious when I see Janet throwing her arms all over the place. Let's see. Shelly L says, and Mary J. Blige stomp and slow. Woo! Mary J. Blige stomp in slow motion and thigh high boots. She tried. I mean, she's tired. I saw that. It's like she has lead weights on her feet. It really is like she has lead weight on her feet. And I'm just like, how much longer can she do this? You know what I'm saying? How much longer can she do this? It's embarrassing and it's tough to watch. So, you know, I understand they got mortgages, they have great grandchildren, they got a lot of things that they have to do. Janet Jackson has a child in preschool. They got a lot of stuff they have to do. So, and we all know preschool is not cheap. But it gets to a point where it's embarrassing. It really is. You're not that person anymore. You see, what's her name? Stop rolling all over the stage. Patti LaBelle. Remember how she used to roll and run and kick and kick them shoes off and stuff? How many times has she nearly decapitated the drummer kicking them shoes off? Well, she don't do that no more because she know better. I don't want to see them in a home, but I don't want to see them. That's the thing. Is that it's it's humiliating. It's embarrassing, especially when Janet was still so heavy and she could barely function. You know what I mean? She could barely function, and yet she was out there trying her darndest to get that, you know. But we do have the internet. We are able to see what you did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's just not the same. Not only is it not the same, it's embarrassing. Little fat butt. You know, okay, I'm going to give you a good example. So, Tina Turner said that she was still able to do a lot of things, but she got to a point in the songs where she just ran out of steam. She literally lost all energy and she just could not do it no more. And when that time comes, you know what I mean? Do y'all remember the time when Tina Turner was doing Proud Mary and she got winded and Cher came out on the stage with her because Cher could see she was in trouble? And I'm just like, if Cher is going to help Tina, who the hell is going to help Cher? Because she's not that far from the home herself. If you're going to help Tina, who's going to help you? So yeah, that was kind of tough. Cher rescues Tina Turner. Let me see if I can find that. Multiple, no. Nope. I just remember they were on the stage and, well, Tina was on the stage and she got winded. Well, Cher has shared how Tina Turner saw, nope, that's not it. Let me see here. It was one of the concerts. I'm not going to find it. Yeah, I'm not going to find it. But Tina Turner was, and we're going to take the beginning of the song, and this is how we do. And you could just tell that she was losing steam. And suddenly, unannounced, Cher appeared on the stage. Okay, Divas Live. Divas Live? Okay. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. Tina Turner, Divas Live. Okay, I think you're right. I think that's what it was. But no shame to Tina Turner because she did keep it going for a long time. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it now. Let me see. I saw 1 year before he died of cancer at the Forum. Well, now hear me out when I say this. I'm speaking of singing. And the people that I mentioned are people, Janet Jackson, who cannot sing. Paula Abdul cannot sing. Both of them have had their voices dubbed with other people. And who else was it? Those are people that have had their Madonna. They have dubbed their voices with other people. I love Cher's voice. I love Tina Turner's voice. They had their own distinct sounds, and I thought they both sang lovely. So if Tina Turner sat on a bar stool on the stage and decided to sing one of her ballads or something, she can do that. I bet you Janet Jackson can't do it. I bet you Madonna ain't going to do it. And I bet you Paula Abdul ain't going to do it. All they have is dancing, and that's not even working for them anymore. So while I respect them as artists, and they are artists, they have entertained more people than most. It's just hard to watch them trying to dance like it's the 1980s. That's all I'm saying. Oh, there you go. That's why she couldn't sell those concert tickets. There you go. There you go. Yeah, she's a song stylist. And listen, you guys, I'm not trying to backtrack. I love Janet Jackson's music. I didn't like what she said about Vice President Harris, but I love her music. But I just don't want to see her trying to be the old Janet. It is time to evolve into something else. Because otherwise, it is going to become very embarrassing. How long is Janet, Paula, Madonna, and a few other people? How long are they going to maintain this dancing thing? They don't have to work so hard. They really don't. I guess it's kind of hard because Janet Jackson used to put on such a great show. She was legendary for her performances, right? And now she's not. And Janet could not do a residency in Las Vegas and be the Janet of old. You know what I'm saying? She could, but it's not going to be. Anyway, I don't think I'm articulating myself well enough, so I should probably stop. But I just feel a certain way about people trying to hold on to those things well past their prime. It's hard for me to watch Barbra Streisand, who I love and adore, because Barbra Streisand's lost that power she used to have. Patti LaBelle lost that power she used to have. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I don't think anybody expected that some of these artists would still be trying to perform at the level that they are this far into their careers. I don't think anybody would have expected that, say, 30 or 40 years ago. A lot of these artists, they would have said, oh, I probably have been retired by then, but they don't retire. They just keep going. Oh, okay. Okay. A disco chip. All right. Yes, Emmanuel, thank you so much. Yeah, and isn't it hard to watch that? I don't want to be cruel, but it's so hard to watch that. When I went to see um, Aretha Franklin at the Chicago Theater, you guys, you would have thought I was on my way to a funeral. I was so nervous. I was so nervous because I didn't know what she was going to be like. Now, as it was, she delivered. She really delivered. But up until that point, I was just like, ooh, is this a bad idea? Because no matter how much I love an artist, I don't want to see them struggling to be the artist of yesteryear. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to see that. Now, I have almost every song that Aretha Franklin has sang. I have an Aretha Franklin poster, an original from the record company, the one from Andy Warhol. I have the one that the record companies send out to the record shops. I'm just trying to establish my feelings for Aretha Franklin. But whatever I feel for her, I would not want to see Aretha on the stage struggling. That would break my heart. That's what I'm trying to say. Even if they have to turn to auto tune to get the song out, fine. But all that big dance chorus stuff, mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let them kids dance. Leave that alone. Yeah. Yeah. And Sandra, I used to be able to sing, but my voice is shot now. I used to be able to sing. I had a very nice voice, but I can't do what I used to do. I just can't. Ah, oh, yeah. Somebody, somebody told me, they said, "Have you seen Gladys Knight lately?" And I saw her and I was just like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah." I mean, listen, I don't I'm not the one who makes the call. I'm just expressing how I feel about it. Is just that in a very dignified way, I would like to see some of these artists say, "Okay, okay. Now, if the occasional award show comes up, right, and you do a number or whatever for the sake of nostalgia, okay. But to try to go on tour, J Lo, and to recapture the past, J Lo, to try to do these big dance numbers that you were so famous for, Janet, don't, don't, don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, they literally risk injury. Oh, I love Dionne Warwick's voice. I love her voice. It's so dignified, isn't it? It's so smooth and mellow. Yeah, you guys, let me see. I do keep some albums with me. I think you will like the ones I kept. Earth, Wind and Fire, Bill Withers. I do have some Richard Pryor albums too, George Benson, etc. I love George Benson and Bill Withers. I love all of those people. Yeah, somehow Whitney, Dionne Warwick, and Aretha Franklin, aren't they somehow distant cousins or something? I think it's more than just godmother. I think somehow they're all related. Somehow. Okay, you guys. That's enough of me putting everybody out to pasture. I have named and shamed quite a few artists that I think should retire lest they become incredibly embarrassed. And I think I should say goodnight now. It's been a pleasure. I can't believe it's still 742 people here, but I really do appreciate it. And please make sure you support all of these Sussex friendly spaces because we have done a lot of good for our faves. and other people. It is true that this is a virtual world, the internet, social media. The other thing that is true is that even though the internet is not a real place, it does have an effect on the way people live their lives, the way people are perceived, and so on. So never underestimate the power of your voice or the social media, because it does matter. Now, here's a link for Lady Sussex, George, and Charles. The channel, of course, is Meghan Markle, a real-life Cinderella. So that is the link. I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. Please make sure you go over there and like and subscribe and share. Listen to it. Listen to it. They had a really great show Sunday. They had been away for a couple weeks, I think, but it was definitely worth waiting for. So, like I said, I'm going to pin that to the top of the chat. And I thank you to go over there and to subscribe. Okay, it's a deal. We'll retire some more singers. We will put more people out to pasture. And you know what? Even if they ain't messing up, we'll put them out to the pasture anyway, because we don't want them to get a chance to disappoint us, right? So better to get a head start. It is better to get a head start. That way they don't disappoint us later. I could just go over to a stack and pull out an album or 45. I can't sing, but I warble along. I know what you mean. I like to get loud on the part, I know. Yeah, 20 years ago. We should have done that 20 years ago. But that's what we'll do. We'll do a preemptive retirement. We won't wait until they get crappy. We'll just hint and nudge them along until they get the message, and then they'll call it a day, right? Right. Okay, so I'm going to take my auburn red rusty hair, whatever color it is. I'm going to relax and catch up on whatever's going on, and I will see y'all tomorrow, okay? Love you guys. Good night.